For many, Christmas means a trip with a heritage train, where you go to the Christmas market or similar and pick up the annual Christmas tree while having fun with the family. For some, this has included a ride by a heritage bus and tram to get to the Christmas tree, because even though the Danish Tramway Museum is located on the trackbed of the old Midtjylland Railway, there's still a long way to the nearest station with connections to the rest of the railway network. For this reason, the Tramway Museum has for several years collaborated with various operators to be able to offer people a trip by heritage train to a station where the museum's old buses could drive them to the museum. For many years, the Danish Railway Museum was responsible for this service, but after 2 years without a heritage train, the Tramway Museum started a collaboration with the Eastland Railway Club in Køge, who transported visitors to Borup, from where the museum was responsible for the rest of the transport. In this video, we'll take a close look at the trip from Køge, as the East Zealand Railway Club, or OSJK, ran over 2 days, of which Saturday's departure departed from Copenhagen, and the Sunday's departure, which the photographer was on, departed from Køge. In this video, we will see clips from the trip both from 2016 and 2017. In addition to the Society's steel coaches, the train that the Society made available in 2016 also consisted of 2 locomotives in the form of the Marzipan Bread LGA M32 from 1952 and the roller skate OSJS M8 from 1953. The following year, 2017, however, the M32 was holding the service alone. The M32's class has been covered in a previous episode, but even so, little can still be said about the locomotive itself. M32 was delivered to the Lolland Railway together with another locomotive M31 in 1952. Here they ran together until 1991, where M31 was sold to the Skagen Railway and can today be seen at the Beauvoir's Heritage Railway as the M8. M32 on the other hand stayed with the Lolland Railway, where it in 1983 received new engines from Fricks in Aarhus, and since then continued its work on the Lolland Railway, even though it has been rented out to heritage trains every now and then. In 2008, M32 began a new life when it was sold to Contact Rail, where it, among other things, helped to run maintenance trains, before it in 2012 was sold to OSJK. Here it was overhauled in 2019, so it today appears almost brand new. The second locomotive in the formation, OSJS M8, was delivered in 1953 to the East Zealand Railway Company on Stevns. The roller skates, as they were later called, were designed as a smaller and cheaper version of the Marzipan Bread. In the case of the East Zealand Railway Company, it was also because the East Zealand Railway Company wanted 2 locomotives instead of 1, and therefore they got half a Marzipan Bread, in the sense that instead of having a locomotive with 2 375 horsepower engines, they got 2 locomotives with 1 375 horsepower engine in each. However, the delivery of the 2 locomotives to the East Railway Company took longer than expected, and as they had to continue on with their steam engines, Fricks compensated by paying for the East Railway Company's coal until they got their new locomotives. Both M8 and M9 worked for the East Railway Company until 1993, where they came to the OSJK, where they have since been used in the Society's trains. M9, however, has been taken out of service, and therefore it is M8 and M32 that has taken the tow when the larger trains ran across Zealand. The trip to Skønnesund, or the Danish Tramway Museum, started as mentioned from Køge, where it ventured towards Næstved via the Little South branch. Along the way, the train had to cross with other traffic before the trip went via Næstved. Here the train changed direction of travel and went towards Ringsted, where it continued to Borup. In Borup, the tramway museum was waiting with the heritage buses, which drove the guests to the museum's forecourt, from where trams went further into the forest. Inside, the sheds had been nicely decorated, and all around there were exhibitions with Christmas theme from the old days. In the old tram shed from Valby, a Christmas cafe had been set up where you could buy foods and drinks, amongst other things. And if you couldn't feel more like Christmas, Santa Claus himself also came to visit. Out in the forest, a Christmas tree sale had been established at the museum's terminus at Eilers E. Here the museum's guests could acquire their Christmas tree, and if you wanted something for the sweet tooth, there was also roasted almonds. When the Christmas tree was bought, it was loaded on board a freight wagon and transported to the museum's forecourt, where they were loaded on board a truck that took them to Borup when the guests wished to return again. For the trees that were not going with the heritage train, the museum had connected a freight wagon to one of their trams from Aarhus, which rode the trees to the museum's entrance. A few hours later it was time to go home, and the museum's buses drove the guests back to Borup, where the heritage train had been kept on a siding until it was time to go to Køge again. The return trip went along the same route as before, and turned around in Ringsted before the trip continued along the little southern branch through Næstved. Here those who dared stick their head out in the cold could hear two Fricks engines working their way out of the stations on the way home. At Køge, the last passengers got off, and the train returned to the club's depot near Junkers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Danish Railway Series Advent Calendar, and I hope to see you all in the next one.